Hello! Today, I am still the game of knowledge and more. I just had a haircut. But today, we are going to do a deck tech on my newest deck, which is on the Phonon Fireballs Strike deck. And I've decided to put in a bit of shadows because who doesn't love mixing into fusion archetypes? I'm essentially fusing them together. So, first off, 3 Phonon Fireballs. He's essentially a super polymerization where he's normal or special summoned. You discard a card and you fusion summon one monster from your extra deck using monsters on either side of the field, including him, but it has to only be him on your side. And you can only use this effect of him once per turn. Next, it's to Lubellion the Shrouded Dragon. He has an effect where his name becomes Phonon Fireballs, whether it's on the field or in grave. And you can either send a Phonon or Fireballs or burn a spell trap card from your hand or deck to the grave. Then either special summon him if it's from the hand, or place this card on the bottom of the deck. Then if you place this from your hand, you draw a card. So he essentially replaces himself if he's in the hand. I'm only running 2 copies of it though. Next, I am playing 2 Spriggan's Kit because it is not only does it special summon itself if I have a fusion monster that mentions Phonon Fireballs as material, but he can get me a branded spell trap card from that is banished in my deck or in my graveyard to my hand. Then I can place 1 card from my hand on the bottom of the deck. Next is 2 Trapagate Macholia. He's essentially a hand trap if your opponent activates a monster effect, while you control a fusion monster that mentions Phonon Fireballs as material. Or you can do it from face up on the field. So he's goes so good for the deck in a way. And he can search your deck for a Phonon Fireballs or a monster that mentions it, except him if he's banished, and put it into your hand. Next, for the Shadow cards, I'm running 1 Beast. He's in here mainly because he can draw me a card. 1 Dragon because he can destroy a spell trap card. 1 Scroll Master because he's a Shadow Foolish Burial. 1 Aerial because it can remove up to 3 things from the graveyard, and 1 Hedgehog to search out my other Shadow monsters or spell trap cards if I sell them. Next, for just a little bit of fusion support, I'm running 2 Keeper Dragon Magic. He can help me get a polymerization or fusion spell card from my deck to my hand by discarding a card. Next, I'm running. This is kind of inspired, I think, by Team Samurai X1. Because he is running a bit of a hand trap package. So first, I'm running 1 Nibiru. Not only is he a great hand trap if your opponent summons multiple monsters in a turn, but because he brings out a token, that's great with not only Phonon Fireballs, but if I decide to use Nibiru himself for fusion summoning. Next is 2 Ash Blossom. I don't think it will be a Gold Cam deck without having at least a copy of Ash Blossom in the deck. Next is 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. When you can destroy a card on the field if it's a monster or a spell trap card that's already on the field by sending her to the grave. Next is 2 DD Crow. You can discard him to banish a card in the grave, and 2 effect failures. It negates a monster effect on the field that your opponent controls. Next is time for the spell cards. So first, I'm running what people are saying are the best fusion spell ever, Branded Fusion. So, you fusion summon 1 fusion monster that mentions Phonon Fireballs as material from your extra deck, using 2 monsters from your hand, deck, or field as fusion material. But you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters that's in the activated. So I'm running 3 because of how good it is. Next, I'm running 2 Branded Lost. It makes it so if your opponent cannot negate your branded fusions, and if you fusion summon a fusion monster, you can add one Phonon Fireballs or Master that Mantism from your deck to your hand. So not only is it good protection for your fusions in a way, but it's a searcher. Next, because of the Shadow package, I am only running 2 Shadow Fusion. It is a minor, it's like a weaker version of Branded Fusion, except it does Shadow monsters. Next, I am running 2 of the original polymerization because as a third way of fusion summoning, one monster reborn to bring back Phonon Fireballs for more fusion shenanigans, 2 super polymerization because that way it's like I'm having a 4th and a 5th copy of Phonon Fireballs. And to round up the spells, I'm running 1 card by the grave. So yeah, I don't think I'd have a Gokam deck. I don't think a Gokam deck would be complete without at least 2 copies of Ash Blossom and 1 copy of Card by the Grave. Next, to round up the deck and the traps, I'm running 3 Branded Retribution. It's essentially a counter trap that can negate a special summoning of a monster by returning to your deck 1 face-up fusion monster you control, or 2 fusion monsters in your graveyard that mentions Phonon Fireballs as material. And if you do, negate and destroy that card. It can also return a branded spell top card in your graveyard to your hand, except this by banishing it. Next, it's time for the actual deck. So first, I'm running 2 Mirror Jade Ashblade Dragon. Except for the Shadow cards and 2 other cards in the extra deck, all of these monsters will include Phonon Fireballs. So for Mirror Jade, it needs 1 extra deck monster essentially. You can only control 1 of her, and once per turn, you can send a fusion monster from your extra deck to the grave that mentions Phonon Fireballs as material to bash a card on the field, but you can't use this effect next turn. And if it's sent to the grave, if it leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls during the end phase of this turn. Next is Lubellion, the Searing Dragon. I am running 2 copies. It needs a dark monster, and if he's fusion summoned, you can discard a card to fusion summon 1 level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck, except him, by shuffling fusion materials mentioned on it into the deck. For monsters on the field, your monsters face up on the field, graveyard, or face up branch cards, but this card type and it has the same restrictions as Branded Fusion. Next is 2 Albion the Branded Dragon. It needs a night monster, and it can fusion summon by banishing the monsters, and if it's sent to the graveyard during the end phase, you can add to your hand or set 1 bonus spell Tarkov directly from your deck. Next, I'm running 1 Titanoclad, the Ash Dragon, who needs 1 monster with 2500 or more attack. He gains attack equal to the combined original levels of the monsters used for its fusion summon times 100. And it is unaffected by the activated effects of any other monster special summon from the extra deck. And he can add to your hand or special summon 1 Dogmatica or Phonon Fireballs monster from your deck to your hand. Next, I'm running 1 Brightbrand, the Glory Dragon. He needs a level 8 monster or higher, and it cannot be destroyed by battle, and your opponents cannot target other monsters you control of monster effects. And he can add a Trial Brigade or Phonon Fireballs if he's sent to the grave. Lastly, Sprand the Iron Dash Dragon. he needs an effect monster that will special summon this turn. And you can move him to a different zone to destroy all of the cards on the field, in that column. And he can search out a Spring card or Phonon Fireballs. Next, I'm running one construct to mill. She needs a Shadow plus a Light monster, one Annoyed Terrace, one Shadow plus one Water monster. She prevents special summonings from the hand or graveyard using spell trap cards. One Winder. She needs a Dark monster. She makes people only special summon once per turn. One Apcolon. It negates a face-up card. One Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. It can gain attack points equal to the one special summon monster your opponent controls, and one 30-headed Conda who can send a spell card that's a fusion or polymerization to the graveyard from the deck to essentially use it. So that's my deck for today, guys. Next week I might show you a deck I've been working on Master Duel, so heads up for that. Plus, can you check my Facebook, Instagram, and all those others down in the description. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.